I mean, God is residing in us. So without God, we are no human. Correct that.
Okay, so you are saying there is God in us. Okay, imagine this same statement is reversed and say there can be no divinity without humanity. Will that be right? There can be no divinity without humanity. So that statement might not be true because we never create divinity. Divinity is latent in us by the divine being. Okay, most of you will answer a similar structure of answer. Let's move on to the next slide. To answer this question, let's look what is humanity is all about. So the humanity is, first we can say human being, mankind, the entire human race, without religion, race, color, caste, creed, language, or even status, whether you are rich, you are poor. Every one of us comes under attack, a circle called humanity. Now, what does human being means? Anyone can answer? Human being means what?
Human being, I feel, would mean someone or an entity that has can they have access to the five senses and also a sixth sense, meaning the intelligence, intellect.
Okay. Okay. Any other answers? We have covered this actually in one of the study circle about human being.
But the Param answered in the chat that being human is human being.
Okay. Any other? Okay, this question Swami asked a group of well-learned people from US. In one of the interviews, Swami asked them, what do you know about human being? Everybody trying to give a big explanation. And Swami said, no, it's very simple. Human being simply means being human. Nothing else. Being human is human being. That's what Swami says. So when you see mankind, what does mankind stand for? Simply man have to be kind. How kind are we? Ask ourselves. Man have to be kind. That's why we are known as mankind. So it's a question for us to ask, how kind are we? Now the second one is, what is divinity? If you look in the slide, divinity is, we can also call it celestial being, the creator, the supreme, or in Hindu we call Brahman. In other languages we have different names. Or simply we call it in a unifying way as God. Someone who generated us, operating us, and finally destroy or liberating us, God. That is God. So far you all understand? So, as what Sister Ambika said earlier, without divine, we cannot be here. All of us are a spark of divinity. That's why Swami always says embodiment of love. Because God is love, we are part of the spark of the divinity, so we are also love. Okay, now you know what is humanity, what is divinity. Okay? And without divinity, there can be no humanity. Only you think only humanity cannot be there without divinity? Before we came into this world, just like Naveen said, we have sixth sense. What are the things that God has created in this world before us? Anyone can answer? Our
Brother,
last study.
repeat the question, Brother Murthy.
No, before we were created, as what Brother Naveen says, as with the six senses. Okay? What did God created before we came into this earth?
The 5 elements.
Okay, very good. Our last study circle, we discussed about the Panchabhutas, the 5 elements. Anything else? So, if you really look at it, we are the last species God ever created. Last species, huh? God created the 5 elements, created all the nature, animals from insects to the fish, bird, animal, everything. And we are the last species ever created. And what are we doing to this world now? Ask ourselves. So, God never only created us, He created every other thing first. And then finally He created us so that we can make use of them and learn from them. Okay, but how many of us are learning from them? Okay, most of the time they end up in our dinner plate. Okay, now we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, next slide. Since we talk about God created us, divine created us, this question I want to ask, how many percentage are we divine once we take a human form? You can on your mic and just answer. What's the percentage among the 100%?
When we are small, when we born, 100% divinity, divine, and as we grow older, our divinity will reduce. Is it right?
So you have a meter to measure the reduction?
No, what is that? What is that, brother?
You have a meter to measure the reduction?
No, when we born 100% divine because we don't know anything. We just pure divine.
Divinity.
But as we grow old, we'll accumulate so many negative vibes and all that. So our divinity will reduce.
I agree with Auntie Sudha that I also feel the same.
Thank you.
I disagree. I think we are always divine, whether we are young, old, or dead. I think the problem is we forget. My opinion.
We are unrealized.
Okay, any other answer?
Yeah.
I asked the number of percentage only, in the form of a number.
Aha, wrong answer. We are 100%. Sister Parimala said we are 100% divine. Brother Murthy, you can see the chat room also for some answers.
Yeah, but too many things unless you all tell me, who says what. I have to Google here and there, press. Sorry. Okay, I'll give you an answer. Swami says, once we take a human form, okay, we move to the next slide. It gives the answer. Let's move to the next slide. Give you the answer. Okay, Swami says, once we are born as a human being, we are 85%. We are 85% divine. So there's only 15% more for us to reach moksha. That is no rebirth. So we are already, the moment you have taken a human form, we are already 85% divine. You might be surprised. What Sister Sudha said just now is exactly, but it is not divinity. It's called purity. When we are born, we are pure, 100% pure. As we grow up, we become slightly impure. I'll tell you, later we'll come to that. Okay, why we go impure. But that is purity. But divinity, the moment you are born, you are 85% divine. When you go especially to a death house, the Indian death house, Hindu, you'll see people in Devaram, they will say this word, Mannai, Kallai, Puruvai, Pambai, Maramai, all these, Payai, Manidarai, Murivarai. Have you all heard this? Okay, this is
Yes.
our evolution. Yeah, Naveen?
Oh no, I said yes. We have heard it before in the Shiva Puranam.
Correct, in Shiva Puranam. And normally you go to that house only, you'll hear this. They will read. So if you really look at this, that is our evolution. Because when you are very young, when we are in a different form, our senses is reduced. Okay? As we grow old, as we take another form, finally we become a human form. That's where you will have 6 senses. In fact, Brother Navi, you answered it earlier. 6 senses. In your animal, you have 5 senses. What is the additional senses that we have? The 6th sense is the power of discrimination, to determine what is right, what is wrong, to act upon. So this 6th sense is only awarded for human being. So the moment you are born as a human being, you are 85% divine. So remaining is only 15% to reach the moksha. But we take so many births to reach this 15%. How many births you think needed to accomplish this 15%? Anyone knows? Anyone knows?
Uncle Param has said 8.8 million.
I don't know how he calculated lah. எப்படி கால்குலேட் பண்ணாரு அவர் தான் கேட்கணும். எல்லா மாதிரி கால்குலேட்டர் வச்சு செஞ்சிருக்காருன்னு.
Arishmita has said 7 birds maximum.
Okay. But nobody, Swami has never said the number of birds that is needed. But in each birth, the moment you realize you are divine and what is the right duty you have to do in your next birth, okay, your age is reduced. The number of years you got to serve in this earth is reduced. As it goes and goes and goes, finally our Atma will never return back. It won't take another birth. There was once when Swami was giving a talk, a boy walked in and Swami said, "Look, Swami Vivekananda is walking in." Such great Vivekananda has to take a rebirth. Can you believe it? So we need to do a lot of sadhanas in order not to return back. So the number of births, I am not so sure, but Swami never mentioned about the number of births, but there might be some other Swamijis who have mentioned about the number of rebirths. So why we take many births to accomplish the balance 15%? Now, anyone knows why we take so many births to accomplish the balance 15%?
To clear off all our bad deeds.
I think it's because we have to clear our karma, whatever negativity
Okay.
and all that we keep on giving. And that's what I feel.
Yeah.
To realize ourselves.
And we are not supposed to. Yeah, please.
To increase our self-realization, like over the births, we tend to realize our divinity more.
Okay.
Saram, brother.
The reason why we, yeah,
Okay, you see, you were saying the human species was the last to be created. Okay, if the human species is the last to be created, then the assumption is all of us are born as humans only. So what about the births that we actually take as plants, as animals, as insects, as birds? See, so the thing here is human species, we are created means we are not born straight away as humans. So we could start off
Okay.
as a normal single cellular being, after which then we take births according to our என்னன்னா நம்ம என்ன பாவம் புண்ணியம் பண்றோமோ அதுக்கு தகுந்தாப்புல நம்ம பிறந்து then we reach to a stage where we finally become humans. So and the human வந்தோன்னு தான் after that also we'll still continue to take births. We still continue to take births. Correct or not?
Okay.
Now, I mean, this is what
Correct.
son la நான் படிச்சதுல. So in the
இல்ல
number of births வந்து okay, according to what I read, it is about if I'm not mistaken, it's about 30,000 or 80,000. I'm not sure of the figure. There's a number of births you take before you become a human. Then after you become a human, you're born as a human, you can still go back to a lower birth, depending on what you have not, the karma that you have not fulfilled. So other than you can be born back as an animal. But normally, once you're a human, then you try to progress further until you reach liberation. This is what I can share, brother.
Okay, brother. Thank you, brother. When you said we took the first birth as a plant or animal, yes, it all came, the evolution came from there. But the moment we reach the human birth, okay, this is already there. The entire nature is already there for us to use them. So that's what I'm trying to say, that we are the last, among the human species is the last species to be born, but not in a different form. What you're talking is a different form. Okay?
Oh, okay. So what was the last question, brother?
Why we take many births to accomplish the balance 15%?
Oh, okay. That means the balance 15% you're talking about after being born as a human.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So this 15%, why we take many births to accomplish is because one is our karma. We're born. And we need to liberate ourselves. In some birth, take ourselves for example, we know after coming to the center, we know something about spirituality, about how for us to human being, how we came about and all. Let's take our parents for example, okay, or our grandparents. They may not have gone through all these for them. If not, we would have learned from them. But we never learned all this from them. Even I take my parents, they don't know much about this. But when I came here to center, that's why I tried to read books and listen to talks and all these things. We realize this. So the moment you realize that we are born again and again due to our karma, we tend to reduce our karma. We don't increase our karma so that we'll be born again and again. And be in this world, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are suffering. When we are happy, we are really happy. When you are suffering, you are really suffering. And you will ask yourself, so in order for us not to come back here, we do all kind of sadhanas. Okay? That is the reason we take many births, because we need to settle all our karma.
Brother,
Okay, now we'll move to the...
brother,
Yeah.
one this one. Brother, even good karmas, we may always tell that we do always good. Even to finish it off, that good karma also we have to come back to born as human being again, no? So that means whatever bad karma also we have to come back. Even good karmas also, after enjoying some good life in heaven or whatever it is, we have to come back and finish off that good karma also. So that is where the balancing, that means we have to surrender good karma or bad karma, everything to God, then there won't be any rebirth, it seems. Bhagavad Gita says that. I don't know.
Okay, sister.
Brother.
No. Bhagavad
Hello?
Bhagavad Gita says that because you surrender.
Yeah, surrendering. This part
Bhagavad
is the
Gita
one we
says
have to
that
practice.
you surrender. Once you surrender, you don't repeat back the mistake, the karma.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But most of us can surrender like that and not repeat. So we are not able to surrender it. That is why we are born
Yeah,
again.
even if it is
So the underlying factor of what is,
even if it is good karma also we have to come back, brother.
yeah, you come back, you maybe become a sultan or a rich people's daughter.
Yeah, yeah. So surrendering part la.
So don't get angry with sultan and all that. They all did something good karma and be born as a sultan now.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. So this underlying factor of this Bhagavad Gita actually says that you have to surrender. Once you surrender, you don't repeat back the mistake. And when Krishna says this, you surrender everything to me, I'll take care. You try to surrender everything to God. Tomorrow you tell God, I won't get angry. Surrender. And see in 1 week time what happened to you. Can you sustain it? We can't. Because we are just a human being trying to move in this world, in this ocean. Okay, now we'll move to the next slide, maybe. Okay, here Swami says this very clearly. Everything is, if you look at the slide, everything is supported and sustained by God because He's the creator, right? So He sustains. He says every cell, every moment, and in every yuga, okay, is governed by divine will. God is everywhere in the form of nature. Unable to realize this truth, people develop doubts regarding the existence of God. Now, God is everywhere. And in what form? In the form of a nature. So when we do something, we think nobody is watching us. The nature is watching. Now what is this nature? If you do something outdoor, the plant, the animals, other things are watching you. If you do something bad indoor, don't forget the lizards, the other small creatures in your house, sticking in the wall, in the ceiling, they are also watching you. A small plant that you leave it in the home, that plant is watching you, what you are doing. So that is why Swami says, God is everywhere in the form of nature. So what should we do to the nature now? We are supposed to protect it. And look what has happened. Anyone wanted to give more explanation on this? You understand by this statement? Okay, since nobody answered, I think you all understood by this. Okay. Now we'll move to the next slide. We are unable to realize this truth. Earlier the question asked why we are unable to realize this truth. Now we are unable to realize this truth that God is everywhere in the form of nature because, Swami says this, because we are not following the rules of morality. Animals follow this rule.
Uncle Murthy, Sairam uncle, there's someone in the chat who Arishmita did not understand the earlier question. So maybe you can just go through it one more time.
You mean the earlier slide, is it?
Yes, the earlier slide.
Okay. Okay, let me say human being is for the nature. Okay, we are unable to realize the truth in God. This is by Swami, Okay, unable to realize this truth, people develop doubts regarding the existence of God. For example, I give you a simple example. Currently, we are bound by a particular virus called coronavirus. We still have not ruled out where it came from. Some says from animal, some says we are not supposed to eat all this, from China market and all these things. Suppose if you catch a bat, you know what is a bat? Okay, Tamil Vabaanu சொல்லுவாங்க. Clover. If you catch the bat and if you interview the bat, you ask the bat will tell you this. I keep all the viruses that is going to attack the human being. God created me so that I want to do save human being by keeping all the virus in me. That is the reason I come out in the night after you all get into the house. Night time nobody goes out those days. So the bat will come out during the night time and roam around. Take all the viruses in the air. And by the time in the morning, I will go back to my home, that is in the cave, or somewhere far where you can't see. This is what a bat does. Okay? It never disturbs us. Yet it helps us from keeping the virus that is going to attack us. But human being, without realizing that God is part of the nature, they went there to the cave area, caught the bat, brought it down, killed it and made it a soup and drank. Now what happened to us now, the poison? It attacks us now. And we can get all kind of sickness because the bat is supposed to keep the virus away from us. Unable to realize this, man have killed the bat because he didn't realize bat is part of the creation and it has its duty. So God is everywhere in the form of nature. So that is part of the God. God is part of the bat to come and help us. But we didn't realize this. That's why I said unable to realize this truth. People developed doubts regarding the existence of God and we went around and killed and we eat. Same thing goes to the rat. Rat is supposed to keep a lot of poison, ground poison. Okay? But what happens to the rat? I saw the video, many of you might have seen a video that was shot in the market in China, where all kind of animals, creatures that can fly, that can crawl, that can walk, that can swim, everything is there in the market. And I saw rat is also there. And what is this rat? It's supposed to keep all this away from us. The ground virus, and we kill and we are eating it. What will happen to us? Okay, now we'll come to a question to answer why we are unable to realize this truth that God is everywhere. And that is the best explanation I can give you. Okay, thanks, Brother Param. You put there, you understood it now. Okay. Next slide now. Okay, why we are unable to realize this truth? Because we are not following the rules of morality. Animals follow this rule. I give you a simple example for this. Show me an animal, for example, dog. A dog that is so depressed, has any dog climbed 10th floor high and jump down and commit suicide? Have you all seen any dog doing this? You will never see this. Have you seen any bird that don't want their chicks, the small baby, push it down from the nest or kill it? No. Even a cat, there are 3 or 4 babies. It will look after the babies well. Okay, it will protect the baby. But human being, what are we doing? Baby born, we throw into rubbish. A child born, thrown out of the 10th floor. When we are in a depressed, we don't know what to do. We climb the 10th floor, 12th floor, we jump from there and we die. Why? Why animals don't do this, we are doing it? Because animals follow the rules. And in God's creation, He gave one tool that He didn't give to the other lower self. Only for human being He has given it. And what He has given is what we call choice. CHOICE, choice. Animals got no choice. They come, they eat, they live, they mate, they die, they go. That's all they can do. But we human being has a choice given. I can choose this way or I can use the other way. But animals came without any choice. So they follow exactly what was assigned to them. So that's why Swami says animals follow the rules. We human beings, we are not able to follow these rules. Because of the word choice given to us. That energy was given to us and we are misusing this. a simple explanation for this slide because we are not following the rules of. Now, what is morality? Anybody can explain to me what is morality?
Doing things based on righteousness as the foundation.
Okay, very good. Anybody else?
Principles between right and wrong.
Okay, that's a discrimination power to choose the right and wrong. Okay, anyone else? Morality.
Making the right choice.
Yeah, question is what is morality? Where you can get the morality?
Morality is a code of conduct.
Okay. Okay, action which is right or wrong. Arishmita said, very good. Okay. For this, we move to the next slide. There, Swami explained very clearly about morality. We move to the next slide. Okay, morality is something that doesn't come to us when we are born. Okay, Swami says morality is our natural quality and we need to develop it. Morality is something that we need to develop it. And Swami says we have to develop it, only then the divinity will blossom in you. And how we should develop this morality? Simple explanation given here is you read spiritual book, science literature or any spiritual literature, Balvikas, joining our Sai Center service. But just don't join service and serve people and go. Transform ourselves. Look at them and see how good we are compared to them. From there we transform ourselves. Okay? And then listening to the elders' advice. Sometimes we watch movies. In the movies, most of the movies have some value. But most of the time we see the hero and heroine and enjoying the song and going off. But some of the movies and some of the songs has great moral values. Okay? That's the gist of the moral in that thing. And sometimes painful lessons that we learn in our life. Most of the time when we learn a lesson and then happiness comes, we forget about it. When you learn something, the painful lessons, remember, this comes to us to teach us a lesson. This advice we can give to somebody else that, look, I've gone through this phase and this is what happened to me. Please don't go that way. You can advise somebody because that lesson is for you to teach someone else. That's the painful lesson. And also watch out for the 6 enemies and the Maya, the illusion, okay, which will disturb your morality. You can't develop your morality because of these 6 enemies. And the enemies are which one? Anger, ego, lust, envy, hatred, and greed. Okay. When I say enemies, when you say somebody is my enemy, he's not inside you, he's outside us. So these enemies are actually outside us. When you are born, like Sister Sudha just now said, when you are born, you are very pure. Okay? The purity level is 100%. That's why everybody loves to carry a baby. It doesn't matter what race, what religion, what color, what's the size. The baby is simply pure. So we tend to hug and carry the baby and kiss because it is pure. And so these enemies slowly tiptoe, tiptoe come to us and they started to grow in us. So when a child is growing, slow by slow, she put a lot of rings around them, rings of emotion, anger, hatred. And as they are growing up, the lust will develop, how nice if I can have that, how nice if I can have this. And they get jealous when they don't have, somebody have it. And when somebody pulls their toys away, they get hatred. That's how they develop hatred when they're very young. These are the emotions, rings of emotion they put themselves in. Because they're learning. As you are learning, this is what happened to us. Okay, so while you are trying to develop morality, be careful of the 6 enemies and the Maya, the illusion that comes to us, thinking how nice the world is the other side. Many people migrated to US, Australia, and other countries. Now what happened to that countries? Now you'll be thinking, wow, so much better if I stay in Malaysia because our death rate for this coronavirus is very low. And we are in a very much better situation compared to all the European countries. So now you will think, okay? That's a joke for us to think and ponder. Okay, any questions on this? We're going to the last slide and some questions. So any questions that you want to ask?
Uncle, we will move on to the last slide first and then we will open for questions. Is that okay?
Okay, fine. Okay, now I'll come to the last slide for today. That is the conclusion. Okay. So our conclusion here for this year for Aradhana. Okay. Let us take this message and put it into practice. And the message here, final message that is, realize that we are part of the divine. That's the creator. That's why Swami says we are spark of divinity. Realize that we are part of divine. Everything happens for our own good. In fact, what's happening in this world now is also for our own good. Look what has happened to the environment. Look what has happened to the road. Near my house, I was surprised to see when the MCO started, the dogs, I hardly see, the dogs will wait to cross the road. Now the dogs are crossing the road so easily. Until to a point I saw around 10 dogs having a meeting. They all get together and I don't know what they will be talking. So in my mind I was thinking the dog will be asking, hey, what happened to the road? Human beings, they are not even driving. The road is so free for us to cross. You know? So just imagine what's happening to us. So everything happens for us for the good. For us to realize how bad we have done to this environment, the damage that we have done. Okay, and from here onwards, what we need to do. School children are not going to school. Those days they say don't take handphone to the school. Now the entire school is inside the handphone, tablet and all. So imagine in future the school will come up with a protocol also as a standby measure that in case such thing happen in future, how to run a class, online. So this will happen. In time to come, you can see all this because it's all happening for the good for us to learn. Okay. Then love His entire creation. Don't destroy or hurt them by practicing morality and beware of the Maya, the illusion. And the 6 enemies which will hamper our journey to realize our inherent divinity. So the divinity is not anywhere else, It is inside us. That's why I said the journey is not going outside, not sitting in a mountain and all this. Sit in your own place and try to configure who am I. So the moment you have this thought of who am I, you start thinking, you are actually going for a journey inward. Swami says, if God is in the mountain, people will climb. If God is in a planet, you will create a special rocket and will fly and get to see God. But if God is so smart that he knows man will go around this world and the space to look for me, so he went inside the person and sit so that human beings have no power to go inside in a scientific means. So the only best way is through prayer and meditation and understanding what life is all about. From that, you can have a journey to go inward. But as your journey is going inward, learn morality and be careful of the Maya, the illusion that disturbs our divinity and the 6 enemies that comes to us. Okay? And then Swami says, my life is my message. Baba. Okay? Any questions? Now it's open for questions.
Sairam, we are now open for questions. So anyone who has a question, please just state your name first if possible so we know who is asking the question. You can also ask questions in the chat box. We will also watch out for those So the floor is open for questions now. Thank you.
Madam Uncle,
Madam,
Nandini here.
yeah, sir.
Yeah, so just I don't know whether I understood this right. So the balance 15% in terms of us realizing our divinity, does that come from this practice of just questioning who we are and realizing that God is everywhere and then we give that extra 15%? Is it from, I don't know, or is it from the many different words that we keep taking after that we really keep that extra 15%?
Yeah, you're right. Your 15% stays in this birth, okay, is reducing and reducing. Okay, from 15 we'll go to 14, 14 to 13, but we won't know. We won't know this. But the more and more sadhanas we start doing and realizing ourselves, and the lesser and lesser karma that the bad karma that we commit, that we do, that will liberate us slow by slow. But it takes a very long period of time. Just ask yourself, how good are we? What bad things I have done? And how am I going to change myself, transform myself? The moment you ask this question and put into practice the teaching, Swami's teaching, even you take Bhagavad Gita, many people read Bhagavad Gita. How many of us take one line of what Krishna says and putting into practice? That alone is enough to liberate us.
Yeah.
But many of us falls back to our old habit because we are unable to surrender ourselves.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Since there's no question, can I do a small demonstration? Okay, I prepared something, a small demo for all of us. Okay, an experiment. I'll show it to you all. Okay with you all?
Yes, yes, Uncle, please go ahead.
Okay. Can you see this tray and the glass? Can you all view this?
Can.
Okay, very good. This glass represents our body. Okay? For example, this is a small baby born. Okay, now the baby is born. Okay? As I said earlier, baby is very pure. So Sudha said baby is very pure. So that's why we love the baby, right? Okay, now what I'm pouring is the purity. Okay? This water is the purity. It's full, huh? The glass is full now. Full of what? Purity. Purity is divinity. Okay, we need a study circle also. Purity that leads us to divinity. So the baby is so pure that the purity is very high. As the child is growing up, okay, seeing all this, remember I said the rings of emotion, the childhood, the hatred, the 6 enemies of human beings that we say. You understand the 6 enemies? Okay, let's say for example, the first enemy, anger. Okay, let's say this stone is anger. I put anger in. Okay, anger has gone in now. Then we will have ego, another ego. I'm only putting 6 enemies. Then we have lust. Okay, lust. Lust goes in. And then we have envy. Envy also goes into us now. And then we have hatred. Okay, another pepper, hatred goes in. And then we have greed. The greed also goes in. Okay, now all these are inside this body, you know. What happens to the purity inside here now? Let's see what happened to the purity. Okay, now end of the life. Okay, we never attended any Vikas classes. We never attended any spiritual satsang. We never joined into any spiritual organizations. We just lived our life just a normal human being. Okay, we didn't realize all these enemies have tiptoed into us and it stays with us. Now, towards the end of our life, now you will see what happens to this same purity. Okay, this is another glass here. See what happened to the water. It is no more full. It's only half. Earlier, it was full of purity. As we grow up, we add up all these negativity. What happened to us? Our purity is only half. So this purity is divinity. So we have to take another cycle of birth in order to increase this. So what will happen now is, let's say, this is what we have become. Okay, now you come to Sai Center. You became a Balvikas Guru. Or you join service activity. You are learning, and not only just learning, you are putting it into practice. And there's a transformation in us. Now let's say the same purity increases in us. Okay? We being human beings, I cannot say, do not have anger. Okay? We will have little bit anger. Now look at this size. Okay, now I'm putting this anger inside in a smaller dose. Then ego. Who don't have ego? Who don't have anger? Every one of us has anger. Every one of us has this ego in us. Okay, such great Arjuna, beside Krishna, also he had ego. He thought he killed Karna very well, but he didn't realize actually without the help of Krishna, he will never able to hit the bow, the arrow in Karna. So Karna is more greater archer than Arjuna. Okay. So such great Arjuna also had ego. So who we are? Okay. We can't kill all these 6 enemies. Okay. But we can reduce them by transforming ourselves. Now I'll put the ego in. Now lust. Lust is desire. The desire in us. Okay. We may not have a very big desire to become a president or prime minister of a country so that we can whack a lot of money into our account. No. Nambalukku aasai irukum. Chinna aasai. Okay? It's not very big. Okay? Small aasaigal. Without desire, we can't live in this world. Every one of us has some desire. It's okay to have this desire. Okay? Because as we transform, as we're getting older and older, our desires will start decreasing. Okay? This is desire. And we have hatred, we have envy, jealousy. We do have this. But when you have this jealousy that comes into you, you realize, oh my God, there's some jealousy in me. I should not have this. That means we have reduced, we have transformed. Okay, so our jealousy has become lesser now. Then you have hatred. Okay, hatred also reduced within us. Then you have some greed. Now, coronavirus, MCO, you can't give, but you have enough food for your family. And you came across another family, poor family, no food. Okay, you bought enough food for your family for 1 week. Now that family has no food. Then you can reduce 1 day of your food intake. That amount you can give it to that family. Now your greed level has reduced. Okay, you have at least helped the family by giving them the food. And you ration yourself for the 7 days in a way. So now all the 6 enemies which are still in us, they have never gone out, but they have reduced in size. Now if I pour, okay, all this back. Now, this glass is almost full, but not as full as earlier, but it is almost full. This is the purity that we need to have in order to attain divinity. And to attain this purity, we understand the 6 enemies that is always disturbing you, understand the Maya, the illusion that is happening to us. This entire world is also a Maya. To know this is very good, okay? And develop the morality in us. So this is the experiment that I do so that you can maintain the level of purity that we have when we are born. So any questions?
Thank you very much, Uncle. That was a lovely demo. I think we understand this better now. Any other questions, dear devotees?
No questions, but just want to say it was a really lovely demo. Thanks, Brother Murthy.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so I think we don't have any more questions. So, Uncle Murthy, any closing statements?
Yeah. My statement will be, we have been in this organization for so many years. Okay, some of us, the day that we started our center, we are together until now. Some may have joined after some time. But it doesn't matter where we start. But our reach, our goal should be the same goal as everyone. Okay? And our goal is, we are doing a lot of activities, it doesn't matter, as a guru, as a service coordinator, as a spiritual coordinator, everybody is doing something. But please understand, our goal finally is to make God happy. God never come and ask us anything. But because we never ask God, what do you want? We only ask God, I want this, I want that. But if you ask God, what do you want? God will say, make me happy. And how to make him happy? To help and serve his creation. Do not destroy them. They are not for you to eat or what? The nature, other part of the nature. Okay? What to be consumed, we consume. What need not be consumed, don't hurt them. Okay? Even though you don't do anything good to them, never mind. But don't hurt them. So take this message of for Swami's Aradhana and let's not hurt anyone. Okay? And try to develop good quality in us so that we can transform and become a better citizen, a better devotee, and a better disciple to Swami. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Murthy, Sairam. Thank you so much. I think we can all be very grateful that Uncle Murthy has decided to share this with us. And on the eve of Aradhana Mahotsavam, I think this is a very beautiful way that we have all been connected together after a long time. Most of us would know that unfortunately the MCO has been extended again. So I guess our meetup is going to be delayed one more time. But never mind, even though we can't go outside, at least now we have the chance to go inside. And we have more time now to do our sadhana. We have more time to practice Swami's teachings and learn new things. And I think that that is the positive that we can take out of this. So thank you again, Uncle Murthy. Thank you again, everyone, for your overwhelming support for this first online study circle ever in the history of our Bandar Klang Center. So before we end and before we say our prayers, we'd just like to make a request for everybody here, if possible, to turn on your videos so we can take one last picture before we end the session here. So if we can just, if possible, as many of you, if we can turn on your videos so we can take a picture together.
Naveen, I would like to thank all for showing the interest in participating. And also to you, Brother Naveen, because of you as a spiritual coordinator came up with this idea. And I'm very happy and glad that you gave me an opportunity to share this. Thank you.
Okay, so if everyone can turn on your videos and then we can take a very...
Yeah, you want on the mic? No, mic don't. Everybody
you can keep it off. Just a video on for now.
Yeah, on. They asked to on.
Where's Sudha? Sudha not around.
It is so nice to see all of you all again after so long.
Can see me or not? You can see me or not?
Hi, sister.
Of course.
Hi, Naveen.
Sairam, Sairam.
How are you?
All good, Auntie. Okay, so the picture is going to be taken. Just
Nice.
just look
Okay.
a quick picture. So can everyone?
Naveen, can you see me?
I don't know whether they
Can you see me?
Can agree.
Can you see me, Naveen? Can you see me?
We can see you.
There you
We can see you.
Only we can ask questions.
Hi.
In the center, we only have 30 people attending study circle.
That's
Here,
right.
100 people.
Hi, Roshan. Hi.
Okay. Okay. We are going to take the picture. So can everyone just give your biggest smile, and we will take the picture in.
You take picture. I don't take.
How to take?
No, you don't take. They will take. You just smile, Amma.
Okay, I'm smiling.
Wait.
Two.
Don't worry.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, bye-bye.
Bye.
Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, before we say goodbye, let's just end with prayers, Samastaloka, and then we can leave the call. And I hope to see you all again very soon. Thank you. So we can all just turn off your microphones so we can chant the prayers together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Sairam, take care everyone. Sairam.
Jai Sairam. Thank you very much, everybody. Sairam, see you all again soon.
Sairam.
Hey, Sairam, Sairam, Sairam.
Sairam, Brother Murthy. Thank you.
Thank
Sairam,
you.
thank you. Sairam, Sairam.
Sairam.
Thank you, Brother Murthy.
Thanks.
Sairam, Naveen.
Thank you, brother.
Sairam.
Thank you very much.
Sairam.
Sairam, thank you very much.
Thanks. Sairam.
Naveen, thank you.
No, no.
Can you hear me? What are you eating?
Hi.
Sairam, brother. How are you, brother? Smile, brother. You can see me or not? You can see me or not?
No. They don't know.
There's no picture there.
Okay.